and we are back with an INTP and an ENFJ talking about today social difficulties we had while we were kids in school, because we are from the same class and we are from the same age. So this is just memories from school, pretty much. And we did a lot of stupid stuff, and we had
Yes,
a lot of yeah, and we had a lot of weird social interactions and with difficulties interacting with others, because me and Sebastian, I think we have like a way of thinking that is not particularly normal, or not very that people don't really like to talk about a lot. We are weirdos.
We are weirdos. Yeah, people did not used to see things the way we used to.
Yeah.
I think me and him have think and had a different points of view that perhaps were ahead of our age.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Like I did, by the way, I did a mental age test online, like 3, but it's stupid because it's online. I was like 45.
For how long was it? How long was it?
Like I did the test, and the score was like, your mental age is 45. And it was like 1 month ago, so I was 20.
Good.
It's not like we are, I don't know if we are older than our ages appear, but mentally we are weird, not truly people that have the same interests that people with 20 years old usually have. Like, we both don't really like to drink that much, and we don't really like parties, I think, that much.
No.
So our interests are more focused on maybe other aspects of life and nature and universe. So I think we're going to talk a bit about our times in school and our difficulties interacting and socializing, because that's pretty much what my childhood was, more or less. It was weird. One of the things that I think that like was weird or was difficult for me was really the topic of interest. That
Me too.
yeah, I liked, for example, physics at the time and biology, and I liked to know about bugs and insects and nature and animals. And kids like don't really, they like that stuff, but not really to the point of nearly obsession. That was pretty much what I had back then. What kind of interests did you have?
To be honest, my interests at the time, I used to think a lot about video games. At the first glance, it would be video games, and less to parties. I would not like to go to parties because mostly because of the people that were around us. People were too very immature. They did not have the maturity for plenty of things. Some more friends from me and him have been into drug addicts or to go to smoke, mostly because they felt that they got influenced by others, and me and Rodrigo didn't take that because on those ages from I don't know, but in this range
From like 9 to 11 or 12,
yeah,
7 to 12, something like that.
of course, people only want to be with their friends, and sometimes disrespect their parents only because they want to be with friends and so on.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm very easy to influence that much. Like my philosophy is more or less do whatever you want with your life, like as long as it doesn't really affect me, or as long as it doesn't bother me, it's fine, do whatever you want. I just never saw really the point, like in drugs, like what's the logic behind it? Why get addicted to something that's going to cost you time, money, for nothing, that you weren't even addicted in the first place, for example? So it's just an addiction that it's going to cost you time and money and resources, and it's going to be kind of dumb. So I never truly played for drugs, really. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we used to have friends that went for that life. I didn't enjoy it. I would like to say that I used to struggle a lot to make friends at first place.
Yeah.
Because most of the times people used to see me as someone that does not fit.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would think about it.
Yeah.
But maybe because I had strange way to speak to other people, or maybe I was.
I think you used to stutter a bit.
What?
I think you, when you were a kid, I think you used to stutter.
Oh, yeah.
Getting shot.
Yeah.
A bit. And I think I do that now, but I think I understood a bit better why I stuttered a bit. It's because I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. I want to be objective, and sometimes I can't find the word that I want to say immediately, so I take a bit, 1 second or two longer. And that sounds like stuttering, when in reality I'm just trying to go for the better word. But yeah, like, I remember that our time in school was weird as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
We were kind of more or less loners. Like, we would go to school to pretty much do our stuff, and the people that were there were kind of secondary. At least for me, it was more like, I'm going to go to school because I have to go to school, and then fine, if I find someone like to play with when I was younger, then that would be cool. But I don't know, man, it was weird. It was difficult sometimes to find people that could understand you, play with.
Yeah, we used to have such colleagues on school. We had plenty of them that were influencers, but the worst influencers of all. So some influencers we used to have there on school, they only used to do jokes and to break up with things.
Yeah,
and
like,
mess around.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I was always more of like a dialogue guy than like a physical action guy. So I don't know, like, breaking stuff for the sake of breaking stuff is kind of nonsense, in my opinion. Like, if you want to destroy a living room, it's easy, but why would you do that? Like, and I'm an anarchist, so I don't know, man. I think meaningless violence is just nonsense. Like, why would you do that? It's dumb. So yeah, school was a weird time.
It was probably one of the reasons I also was a loner, despite of stutter. It was because most of my friends were going, while they were going to the houses and have parties with themselves. I didn't used to go because of their tendencies. Their tendencies were not mine. I enjoyed to go home and practice a lot music and listen a lot, because that's what I do. I am a musician.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was more or less the same with me. Like, it's again the topic of interests. Like, our interests were as different from other people as they are now, probably. So we kind of remained the same, or maybe even evolved in our interests. And I kind of think that other people kind of remained the same. Like, the kids that used to like to go to parties and, like I said in the other video, of drinking and, again, do whatever you want, but from our point of view, I think it's collective here. It's not really what calls us. I don't go to a party like because I really want to. Most of the times it's just because I think sometimes I should leave the house for the sake of leaving the house. It's not really because I want to go. Or I don't even go at all. Like, it's not my interest. I prefer like having this conversation than this club. Like, I think this is better. It's more calm too.
And perhaps you like it better, isn't it?
Yeah, I like this better than any party.
So here we satisfy our needs. Here we satisfy our needs.
It's more of intellectual needs. Like, we like to talk about nature and philosophy and music and religion and all of that. And it's stuff that either most people don't care about or are not used to talk about, so they know little about. And I don't know, man, people become boring after a while if you don't have a topic on which to continue on the conversation. It stagnates and it dies. So I don't know, it's kind of difficult to maintain topics with people sometimes.
It is. Again, about interests. People do not understand it. I used to try very hard on trying making new friends, talking about music or animals and nature or so on. And the conversation used to stop right there.
Yeah, like sometimes because you are a kid, for example, in school, you kind of need to have a group of friends, otherwise it's going to be weird, because it's going to be like really lonesome and it's going to suck. So sometimes you kind of have to play for, like, try to have a meaningless conversation just for the sake of having a stable group, even if it means nothing to you, even if the conversation is boring. Like, sometimes it's better to have like one or two people to talk to, even if the conversation is boring, than no one to talk to. Like, it's really, sometimes you have to give up on your ideas of what you like to talk about stuff that other people like, which may be boring and stuff, but sometimes it's better.
And then do questions and so on. So perhaps they could, we could evolve and develop a better relationship. Otherwise, I don't know. I think to belong a group of people, it might raise some status. I don't know. It might do. There
is a certain like hierarchy in the group.
Yes. It might give some status, although I did not like it very much to belong to a group that I would not like to belong if people do not have the same interest and something I do not relate with. Don't you think?
Yeah, like, I remember like when we were kids that like I used to like to, and I still do, I like to play football. So I used to go play. What did you do like in the school timeouts?
Honestly, I used to talk a lot for myself. I used to get away from everybody so I could speak to myself all things I enjoy the most and forget school, because I hated school very hard. I hate school very hard. I did not have traumas or not, but something I used to do a lot was to think for myself what's best for me, and to tell a lot for myself. I like myself really, really it. Because other people used to think about me so bad things. and so on, and I had no help. So I had to tell this for myself, that I like myself. So
and something weird,
so
even though that we were from the same class, we didn't really talk that much for some reason. I don't really understand why. Like, I don't know, maybe because I was more focused on football back then, and I used to like to go play football, and it was okay. And maybe I was a bit more, I don't know, like convinced that I could make a bigger group of friends than I used to have. I don't know, because it's weird that we talk a lot now, but we didn't used to when we were kids that much.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
So as well as we used to do more, to mess up around with things. We used also to be distracted with with other things at the moment, because we're studying in the same university. Maybe that's why we're having more contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to sum up, what I wanted to say is that the difficulties I used to have back then through the school was that thing of socialization. I used to get rid of people because they do not answer me. They do not answer me. So I had to complement myself. I had to give myself self-help.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Even I think we started talking more in the music school. Maybe in conservatory.
In the conservatory.
Yeah, because you were in drums and I was in oboe, and yeah, it was cool that time, I think, because we had that orchestra vibe where we could all play.
Yeah, maybe on that subject of instrument practicing and the orchestra subject, man, we used to do such things as messing up around with people, and it used to be fun as well.
I used to like disassemble some instruments like from some colleagues of ours like as a joke, because they would do that to others too. It was really funny. And then you want to play your instrument, it's all disassembled and it sucked because you have to put it together again. So and the drummers especially and percussionists used to hand up to laugh on others, because we don't really have to tune our instruments, and so they do. And it's plenty of fun because we're doing just nothing and watching each other. They used to call us like the oboe group ducks, because even though like the oboe is the one that kind of tunes the band, if it's not so well played, it kind of sucks, because it has a terrible sound. Remember? It kind of sounds like a duck. It really sucks. And I used to envy like the people from clarinet, and I used to envy them, because I think like, wow, even if they play bad, at least their instrument still sounds good. So, which is not really what happens with oboe, since it's one of the most difficult instruments to tune. You have to be really careful with the pressure that you put with the lips and the contact. So, it was really difficult to tune, and it was kind of fun actually to see everyone like tuning to their instruments. And they just were like looking at us, because they don't need to.
We don't need it.
They don't really need to do anything. They just put their stuff together and it's done.
Yeah, and that's it.
But it was cool.
Yeah, the time of the conservatory back in the day when we were 10 or 11 years old, we would also like to have those moments uh, to mess up around. Yeah, so me and you, at the moment we used to still be loners, but back then we didn't know that. So to do that things that were just fun, like to mess up around, it was part of our lives as well.
And we used to mess up with the teachers too. It was really funny.
Yeah, man.
Remember when that teacher threw the eraser to the head of the student?
Dude, yeah, we used to have a student on our classroom, and that used to behave very bad. And we have been there with that teacher for 2 consecutive years.
Yeah.
And the way he used to call us just to shut up. He used to throw at us pens and so on. And there was a one time that
one day he just fucked up, like he flipped and.
Yeah, that's it. He used to grab an eraser with pointy corners.
Yeah. And he threw
to the head.
Yeah, to the head of this bad student. And he was right in front of me, so the thing passed like this from my head.
Yeah.
It hit him, and it was like a cloud of white.
Dust.
Yeah, of white dust, because the board was a black board when you have to write with. Those little things
with pens on a board.
Yeah.
I just shit my pens because he was right in front of me, and the classroom just was silent, and a few seconds later there was a squirt of blood going out.
It wasn't that bad. It was like the blood started like falling from his face. If he had missed him, like he would probably hit me. I think I was right behind, because I remember the thing hitting his head, and then like doing this, and it passed like this. I remember that thing passing like this.
Yeah, I think we were like side by side on that class.
Yeah, and it was just a cloud of white.
That teacher was expelled from school.
Yeah.
Man, I wish if he was here, I would like talk about.
And like there were so many stupid like people in our class, but seeing from now, it was really cool actually, with Fabio.
Yeah, with Fabio.
And he called a teacher. We had a teacher called
Ricardo Toast.
Yeah, and he called him like Toast. He literally put in the name of the teacher in the test, Ricardo Toasted. So. And the teacher just flipped out, and he was like, "What? What did you call me?" Like.
Yeah, I remember we were at the choir class, and by the time that teacher just have known the name that Fabio called him, he just shows up on the class. the door slams. Who called me that?
We were having a different class, and he just stumbles like into someone else's teacher class, like opens the door really violently.
Oh, it slams.
Who called me Toasted? And it was like such stupid days, really. Like what the fuck. There are a lot of stuff like with storms, and one day it was like really storming and raining outside, and someone opened the window, and someone's jacket like flew outside. Someone threw the jacket outside.
Yeah, it was João. I just talked about it this morning to somebody else, that specific theme. So the guy just throws the jacket out of a window in school, and the teacher just saw it and expelled the guy.
I don't think he saw him actually. It was like he threw the jacket, and then John was like, "Can I go outside?" And the teacher thought it was to the bathroom, and so he came back with the jacket, and it was like soaking wet. It kind of sounded like South Park. It was really like South Park-ish, like the music school, and like our childhoods at school was really stupid.
We've been in a school that we're full of gypsies.
Man, I used to fight.
Yeah, man, I was pissed. I used to be pissed when those gypsies were coming to me because they frightened me like really fucking hard.
We don't mean any offense by this, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the town we live in has a lot of gypsies, and some of them are violent, by the way. Like not all of them, of course,
Of
but
course
some
not.
of them are,
Some of
and
them.
some of them were in our school, and it was kind of funny, like to see them like act with others and stuff. And when I was younger, like when I was 7 or 8. I used to fight with Gonçalo Pinheiro, with a friend of ours that is not. He's in the army now.
He's on our.
Yeah, and I used to fight with him 2 Chinese twins, and
I remember.
it was so fucking stupid.
Every
like for
day.
no reason, for no reason, we would just go outside, and they would come out of a different classroom, and we would meet on the schoolyard just to fight, and they would kick our asses because they were huge. We were like 7, and they were like already like 5.6 or whatever. Like holy shit, they were really huge.
I've never met them in person, but I know that they know martial arts at the moment and they're black belts. I would not really mess up with them.
Yeah, like the Chinese were really, they would mess us up. Like we would go back to class after break, and we were like all sweaty and like with bruises and everything. But next break we would do the same thing and go outside and fight them for no reason. And then we stopped because they were kicking our asses, so why continue? So yeah,
Yeah.
I remember once like in when we were like 8, there was like some sort of party, someone's birthday, and I remember like breaking into the class just to eat cake. I remember that we were outside and there was this window open, and it was the only cake that I liked, and it still is. So I really wanted to eat the cake, so I broke into the class and kind of ate the cake, or ate like 2 pieces of the cake before someone stopped me, and it was really stupid.
Man, I used to have a similar episode. Oh man, but back in the day, from the 1st to the 4th grade, I used to be like the worst. I mean, the most bad behavior student.
Yeah, me too.
On the class. Me and him.
Yeah.
But there was I think my worst thing I ever done. It was like I've convinced a guy on a test, on a music test, a music theory test, to not write his name right away on the text, and I knew it that test I was going to do pretty bad, and I remember that guy just asked the teacher to go to the bathroom, and I thought, God bless you, because I've gone to his test and swapped, and I wrote my name on his and delivered the text. So I had a very great mark, and him used to have like an F.
I mean, did you pass that music theory test?
Yes, I was. It was the best text. And,
I think I always failed music theory tests. I really hated like Susanna, the teacher.
yes, same from.
She was horrible. We had this teacher that was like, she was really fucking aggressive with the classes, and she was always like screaming at us.
He used to yell so
Yeah.
funny, man.
And she was also fat, and she was pregnant, and I honestly only noticed when she was like 7 months pregnant.
Same here.
She was in class, I think, once playing the piano, and something was off about her appearance. It was like fatter than usual. So then I think I realized, holy shit, she's pregnant. And that's like the amount of bullshit we used to do.
Yeah, we used to talk so much about the hot teachers we used to have. There was one time I was taking a walk on the beach, It have passed 2 or 3 years, and hot teacher we used to have that left the conservatory, and I saw that teacher had a couple of kids, and I was like,
Yeah, whoa. Yeah, like yeah, the teachers we used to have in music school, like they really sucked. They were good. They were good teachers. Like they were really good professionals. Like you could see by their credentials that they were really top tier teachers. But like I don't know, man. We were kids, so who really cares? I remember like not really studying for my instrument for oboe, and there was one time because at the end of the year we had to present a play. You too, I think.
Yes,
Yeah, that we have like we were pretty much practicing through the year, and at the end of the year we had to present this play to our parents, and I think I didn't study the play really well. So I played like half of the play, and then the other half was the piano, and it was like an awkward silence for like 2 minutes, on which I was like pretending that there was nothing more that I could play, and I was just lost in the. It was like really awkward, and I think I still passed like that. I don't know how, but I think I got like a 55 or something like that.
out of 100.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember when I first played for my parents.
Yeah.
I was so pressured that I stopped to play and cry in front of everybody.
Really?
Yeah, I used to do it a few times. And when I finished conservatory, I was the most badass.
Yeah.
Uh,
You are
of
really
it.
good, by the way, in
It's nothing, man.
in drums. Yeah, it's like the 8th year, 9th.
Yeah, I used to practice percussion for 11 years by now.
Yeah, I left the music school.
I think it was on the 3rd grade.
Yeah,
Is it?
I don't know. I think I had like 4, maybe. Yeah, not even 5 years of music school. So yeah, he continued for like more than twice the time that I stayed there. So he really knows his stuff. He's-
And that's why now I have on YouTube
yeah,
about music.
yeah, yeah.
Yo, man, that's it. So we've talked about our difficulties, but we recognize it that we had also plenty of good
Yeah.
things.
There are some really cool memories from like Martins and people
Yeah.
that were like really chill, and they were like just pretty much trolls, and it was
Yo.
it really remembered like South Park. Now that I'm watching South Park again and new episodes, it kind of remembers the time of school, and I think it was pretty cool that time. It was kind of it sucked in a few ways, but it was cool also in others.
Yeah, we used to have a colleague that threw a scissor to our teacher. She was just fucked up.
We had this guy that we used to have classes with the projector, and Ferreira used to shut down the projector with his phone. And some teachers were like really clueless of why is the projector always like shutting down. It was
Yeah.
him in the last rule, like shutting with the cell phone. Like it was so stupid sometimes.
Yo, and there's plenty of more. I'd like to
Maybe we'll do a part 2 or 3. I
Yeah,
don't know.
we'll do a part 2
But
about.
for now I think it's enough.
Yeah.
So that was it, and that's the conclusion. There were some pretty weird times in school, but there were also some pretty cool times too. So maybe we'll do a part 2 if this video does relatively well. So thank you.
Thank you, man.